Happy Thursday morning, almost TGIF day. Raining here in Cookville. We're getting close to election day, as y'all well know. It is October 29th, so if you haven't gone off to vote today or tomorrow for sure. I think it's too late to get your mail-in ballots in then. I should have done that, but I had all these procedures and stuff going on. I mean, I did vote. I went in person, but um, I should have mailed in. So let's get your vote in. But it's too late now to mail them. Okay, getting to what I'm really going to discuss. All right, so I told you I was going to talk about more disorders. Um, we have been viewing the Chris Watts case. The family lived in Colorado. I can't remember the city. And you're probably all familiar with it. 2 years ago, August, he murdered his whole family. Okay, I know that sounds morbid. It's it's certainly an unhappy, unpleasant topic to talk about. I gained so much from this interview with a woman who has an extensive background in psychology, psychiatry. She wrote a book about the case. And, because this is my field, I am always interested in, how our mind works, what events can precipitate, a disorder or exasperate a disorder, nature versus nurture, chemical imbalances, untreated trauma, addiction, everything. I am completely fascinated with it. Um, I owe such a huge debt to my eldest because she's the reason I went into this field. And I've mentioned before, I haven't been able to help her. But, God, everybody has somebody that inspires them. And she's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And well, and I'll kind of tie in, a little bit about, and I've discussed all my children before, and our life history and everything. But what I want to discuss about the whole Chris Watts case, what's so fascinating about him? Psychopathic behavior, of course. There were no indicators. In other words, and I'm not trying to say my daughter's a psychopath. I'll bring a little bit of that situation in later. How it ties in personally with my thoughts and feedback and that's what. Oh, by the way, the woman that wrote this book, what I loved about her, and you're going to hear me saying, and I'm far less experienced and educated than her. You'll hear me say, well, that's my take on it from my education, from my experience, from my research, da 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 da. This woman, this highly educated woman, did that throughout. We can't read people's minds or hearts. And she, reiterated that. We do our best with our skills. She said she's even missed, I think she said like a couple cases, you know, that she did not catch that somebody was a psychopath, you know. Um, I think I'm being accurate there, but for the most part, she's through time has learned how to identify these cues and these you know, dynamics with an individual. Okay. What is so interesting about Chris Watts is this. Okay. Not only did he plan it, it was methodical. He had planned it for weeks, I guess. Okay. Um, his behavior was not out of the normal of his character. No one picked up on anything. His wife, until I think it was she went to be with her parents, and and he was having an affair, and that's when the affair escalated. But up until that time when she went for a visit with her little gals, and she was pregnant with Nico. So she had two children, Bella, Celeste, and Nico, that she's pregnant with at this point. I think 15 weeks it was said she was pregnant with Nico. So, anyways, up until she was away during that visit, even when they talked, he was calling her boo, you know. Um, and they were just a little bit stuff was kind of surfacing, but prior all that time, very accommodating. She said, like not she said, but the author wrote, excuse me, from everything that all the research she did and interviews and everything. I mean, and everything that even Shanann had shared, the wife and the mother, oh my God, he wants to go to all the doctor's appointments. He's so solicitous. Um, you know, felt madly in love, felt valued, felt, I said. And she felt he felt this, and she believed that he felt the same. Um, and if I meander a little bit, I just find this so fascinating because, you know, I was married to a sociopath, and that's my take on it. And it's turning out most likely a pedophile. So, anyways, they're with Chris Watts. The situation with him was he was like more submissive in the relate, deferring, constantly deferring, not outspoken. People would say he was quiet, deferring to her. Not that she was like overbearing. I didn't get that impression from what she said. Just that, he seemed to adore her. They had an amazing, I mean, unbelievable home. They had, I don't know who did what there, but oh my God, the colors throughout the home, the care that was taken for this home to provide for the children. Okay, so, she came home from a business trip after being out visiting her family. Um, and the neighbor who's very close to her, one of her really close friends, dropped her off that morning. I think it was like going on 2 or something like that, 2 a.m. It shows on the videotape her being dropped off. And then the next morning, she couldn't reach her, you know. Got concerned about her because she had been exhibiting, you know, uh, real distress on the business trip. I understand, like, not wanting to eat. Da, da, da. So she was becoming quite aware. Shanann was of, something really wrong in the marriage, just like, you know. We will never know if she had maybe warning signs that she didn't share, or red flags or whatever. But from what this psychiatrist picked up on, the author of this book picked up on, she's been a family counselor too, you name it. Nobody, I mean, other than being, reserved, even his mother and that. Um, in other words, what she's trying to say to us, we have community psychopaths. We have people within our community that are psychopaths. What was interesting about this is not every psychopath is violent. Chris Watts had no history of like killing animals, anything like that. He was, I want to please my dad, mom type of guy. No history of violence in that respect. And she has interviewed a psychopath, a not acknowledged psychopath, no history of violence, even has no desire to be violent, hasn't acted out violently. So, in other words, there are psychopaths that are violent that come, and there are those that aren't. And she expressed how, like, on a spectrum, we're all capable of violence, you know. Um, but, there's criteria when you're diagnosed to be a psychopath, a narcissist. She doesn't really like necessarily diagnosis or labels because, sometimes we just can't predict behavior. That was kind of my take on that. Okay. So fascinating. And Roy's taken a course in psychology and, he's more fascinating. We have a lot more to talk about now, you know. That's the wonderful thing about a couple. And I just meander for a second. If you're in a relationship, have your own hobbies, have your own interests, come together and share them. And, mutual interest just keeps everything, the juices flowing, everything healthy. Mm-mm-mm. My jaw's going nuts. I'm supposed to next Tuesday get my mouth guard jaw. I'm still not sure how it's going to help. I'm kind of confused how that's going to put that disc back in place. Hopefully I can ask that question on my appointment. By the way, and I know I'm meandering. I had all these I had all these. We only have 2 legs, y'all. Oops, I won't go there. But anyway, so I have no follow-up appointment. Like nothing. This is the most robotic, highly professional but robotic care I've ever received. I wouldn't go back. Just would not go back. Oh, which reminds me, brings me back to the author of this book. I'm sure, but let me say, I want to be like, I believe I got good care. As far as I know, I don't know, but anyways, I wouldn't go back. What brings back to this author is she teaches bedside manner to physicians. Okay, that's what I picked up on. I thought that was interesting. Okay, getting back to the whole thing about the psychopathic behavior. There's criteria, and it's all over the internet. Like, lack of empathy. Um, was very interesting about emotions. She believes that Chris learned to mimic emotions. He didn't feel them, but he learned what was appropriate to express at certain times. Think about this. She says you probably have psychopaths, politicians, every profession imaginable. They learn what is society it finds appropriate as far as certain behaviors, and they learn to mimic them. Doesn't mean they're intrinsically motivated, okay, or that they're actually experiencing these certain emotions. You know, entitlement, a sense of entitlement. This is see, and there's you can be a narcissist and not necessarily be a psychopath, but there's like a continuum, a spectrum. So, but a lot of the these psychopathic disorders or sociopathic disorders, anti-personality disorders, you know have to have a sense of control. And in this case, perhaps he didn't feel like he had control, and he definitely got control by sadly murdering his whole family. From what I'm understanding, he still has not shown remorse. He's still genuine remorse. He's still feeling like I should get out. I'm a good person still. That's what she said. That's what she kind of stressed. He still thinks he's a good person. Mm-mm-mm. The name of the book, My Daddy's My Hero. I believe that's the name of it. Can't think of her name. I should have written it down. But anyways, My Daddy's My Hero. So Bella, the eldest, I think she was 4 when she was murdered. Uh, and if you don't know the story, he murdered first Shanann, his wife, by smothering her. They did not find defense wounds. I'm gonna say wounds almost. Wounds. So that was kind of interesting. Um, Bella, the eldest, that at 4, that she bit her tongue so many times and fought back. But they did not find any defense wounds on Celeste. I think there was like 4. I think she was 3 and Bella was 4, almost 3, something like that. Anyways, so in the fact that he was able to eat, at any time, and she indicated like he had to drive by before the girls were dead. They were in the back of this car. That's my understanding. That I don't. That's what it sounded like. How it came down. He drove by hospitals and places he could have easily taken the girls to and gotten care for them or whatever. That's my understanding from what she had said. Shanann was already dead, unfortunately, and Nico, the baby. So here he gets these life sentences, consecutive life sentences, and he thinks he should get out for good behavior. See, there's that entitlement, like she talked about. No not taking accountability. You know, when I was married to my ex-husband, James Kavanaugh, he now has dementia. He did not physically abuse me in the sense of, beating me or slapping me or hitting me. But he would come up behind me when nobody else was there and like say something intimidating in my ear if I did something to cross him, and he would devalue me, and he had to be in control. He really thought everyone was blessed if he was in their life. He thought he was some kind of savior, you know. I mean, he had so many affairs and he hurt so many women, and it was like they're just blessed that I crossed their path. They're so much better off for that. I taught them skills, how to stay away from a narcissist and a possible pedophile. Well, I believe he is a pedophile. There's no possible. Okay, so um, we can never be diligent enough. I like to think that at this point in the game, I'm going to tell you what, after what I have been through, not only my traumas, but traumas my children have been through. Unfortunately, some lessons are hard learned. If any child under my supervision, under my care, you got to get through me first if you're ever alone with that child. And I better feel 1000%, not only feel, but ensure that that child is safe. I believe that I've helped people. Like I said, I haven't helped my daughter as far as I know, with her trauma and unhealed wounds, but and her disorders. But I know that I've helped some people, you know. It's been expressed to me. So I really appreciate that. And I've mentioned that before as someone that please let people know they're appreciated and valued. We're only on this planet for a short time, and um, we want to feel valued. So, I'm like exhaling because she mentioned that from her counseling, you never get over certain things. And you can imagine those grandparents. Oh, that uncle, the young uncle in court. Oh my God. He loved his sister and his nieces so much and was so looking forward to little nephew. That anyone can feel that they can take a life of another. And like I said before, a lot of people are, on the bandwagon about abortion and oh, I don't want a baby to suffer. Oh my God, no. Of course not. I don't want any child to suffer. You know, you can be pro one life and still care about children once they're born and not turn your blind eye to, children that are different than yours or for whatever reason. And that's just my belief system. We got to care, about all of them. Do what we can for all of them. We're only, even if we each just do a little thing, which I want to do is shout out to Debbie because, she's did a workshop to empower young girls. I think the ages were 9 through 12. Pivotal time, as we all well know, pivotal time. Building self-esteem, empowering them, awareness, community, fostering community, bonds. Those girls will probably be friends for life. Oh, God. I'm sure she'll get back to that when and if she can. Maybe she'll do it virtually. Anyways, I don't think she watches my videos, but maybe one day. Um, Getting back to the issues of sociopathic, narcissistic. So, like we're talking about, not taking accountability, lack of empathy, okay, willful indifference to the life and well-being of others, just unhealthy dynamics, you know, overall. Just be on the lookout, because I can see like through on YouTube and other places, a lot of people are being really seriously wounded by narcissists in their lives. And then once that narcissist gets their hooks in you, okay, even if that person hasn't been diagnosed, but if you can look out for the patterns of behavior, once they get their hooks on you, it can lead to, abuse. And extracting yourself from that relationship is hard because you don't have the distance or clarity when you're in a relationship like that. You kind of you it's like you ignore you've been told that you're crazy, your intuition is not correct, you know, and you're having to defend your feelings and your beliefs and thoughts about it, an event or situation or dynamic within the relationship instead of, them because of course they're always right, you know. Trying to think, is there anything I want someone to say about that? Very, very insightful. I just think we can learn so much from others, and I continue to learn. I honestly can't think in my life at this point in time that I'm nurturing a toxic relationship. I have a firm boundary with a couple people that I'm still in contact with, but I have a very firm boundary with them. So it doesn't, impact me in a negative manner. I think that's about it. Um, so I reviewed a paper for Roy today. I was going to meet with my sister Kathy, but it's miserable out, so we would have to meet inside, and so we're going to avoid that somewhere. But we're going to get out this weekend. And then Roy's got a big test. He's gonna do tomorrow. I'm gonna review notes to help him study, for taking his test. Let's see. I'm trying to get a card out to my bestie, Carolee. I love you. I don't even know if you ever watched my videos, but I know your birthday's the 2nd. Remember the year I thought it was August 2nd? I sent you a birthday card. Oh God. Oh well. At least I didn't delay. At least it wasn't belated. Anyways, working on that. And then of course Margaret Coleman, her birthday. Please tell me. I think it's November 15th. I think that's it. Because we got Thanksgiving coming up. Love the holidays. Gonna make it happen one way or another, but in a very safe manner. I know what it was I wanted to talk about. Holy crap, before I let you go. See, that's why I'm kind of like, you see me kind of like exploring my mind, like, what was the other issue? Boop, boop. Okay. Oh, that's my hubby sending me something. He likes to send me TikTok. Okay, just me. Okay. I've talked about this. I think it was in my last video. I just want to throw something out at you. So just, bear with me. Okay. Do you remember Bring Back Our Girls campaign? When all these, like 300 young black girls were stolen in Nigeria by an extremist group. Okay. So there was a campaign across the U.S. about this epidemic, this horrible situation. Okay. Now, black and missing in America, and I've mentioned this before about domestic violence, but coupled with that are, other crimes against them. But started in 2017, and hold on, if you'll just bear with me. And this is going on with Indigenous women and girls as well. But I'm trying to that's going to be my next campaign I'm going to get involved in, but I'm already involved in 3. So, I only have so much time and energy, but in 2017, activists and concerned community members in Washington, D.C. relaunched the Bring Back Our Girls hashtag in order to shed light on the epidemic of missing black girls just in that district alone. Okay. A history of neglect and invisibility of missing black girls creates a perfect storm. Okay. Listen to this. The harsh reality is that an estimated 64,000 to 75,000 black women and girls are currently missing in the U.S. Okay, this is an alarm. We need a call for better police policies, just shed a huge light on this issue. Okay, we've got runaways, we've got sex trafficking victims, we've got abducted victims. Okay, you're going to have a lot more in urban areas. Because they're uniquely positioned for vulnerability. Because of the population, because of the demographics. More poverty in the urban areas, perhaps heightened crime. Foster care. You remember at 18, they're let go with, a lot of them with no other support. So they are very vulnerable. 18, that's young, y'all. Think about yourself at 18. They don't get the Amber Alerts. They often systemic failures, yeah. Okay. And plus huge victims of sexual violence in the home. Now, I'm going to tell you something. It says 40% of Black girls are sexually victimized. 40% before their 18th birthday. Um, Black women don't fare much better. And then we have issues with, homophobic, transphobic biases against Black women. All these barriers. And the most dangerous time for a person to leave, is when they leave, a domestic violence situation. So planning and preparing is, critical. So, anyways, it comes down again that however you want to look at it, and it's certainly not just white nationalist, and this, the disenfranchisement that goes on in the criminal and other systems within the U.S. But um, there is a culture also where, and I noticed this because working at Health Connect, I only saw at the most two families come in for help. At the most, that's all I recall in our community. And we have, oh gosh, there's got to be. So there's kind of a stigma in the Black community to seek mental health services, shame, and within the family, hush. Still, I mean, of course, that went on in our our whole, neighborhood family community system when I was growing up. But like, we're in 2020, and that's still going on in a lot of these communities. So this group that I'm involved in is to highlight, empower Black women. I would love to see young Black men mentored early on, and to make sure their self-hate, if it exists, is challenged. Their safety is respected. Okay. Because if none of this is in place, it's going to flow over and they're going to target the people closest to them within their home and their community. You know, we need to, recognize mental health issues. That's why this whole defunding police, like I said, don't like that term. What that really is about is to teach police de-escalation techniques and to get assistance with that. Recognize, mental health folks when they encounter them, and how they can, what resources are available. And, and there are many that do this, but, that we still got a group that don't, so we definitely want the good police to police the bad police from, up on down. I mean, yeah. Whoop, whoop. Let's see. I think that's it. Go out there, love. I know this is a hodgepodge, but that's what I am. I have a lot of facets to my personality. Okay. I have been laughing so much the last couple of days. I have to be careful. You know, I don't know why. I think it's just relieving stress. It's just like everything was kind of hitting me funny, things that weren't even funny. I don't mean like morbid things, but just not that funny. Good for hubby because he can tell his jokes and I'm laughing now. Okay, gonna let you go. Go on. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. TGIF mañana. Love you all. Bye bye. Try to get out of your way.